Okay guys, welcome to my channel. This is the first video of the channel, as you can see if you click on the channel link. But I am Kubi, is also known as Kubilay, which is my full name. By the way, quick disclaimer before we dive into anything else. English is not my native language, probably you can tell. English is not my native language, Turkish is. But I want to reach a bigger audience, so that's why I wanted to just create a YouTube channel in English, because also I see that I'm nowhere near a native English speaker, but I can explain myself and my ideas and my thinking in English to some extent. So this should be enough, I'd say. So as you can see from the title, I have said like 5 most common misunderstandings or mistakes that people do when they are just getting started in programming and software development and software stuff in general, because I did some of them as well in the beginning, so that's why I really want to just bring them up and then talk about them. Okay, let's dive right into it with the first one. So the first one would be thinking that you need a lot of stuff to just get started with coding. Guys, okay, as you can see, you see like a lot of screens behind me. I got a couple of different keyboards, different like mouses, I don't know, wireless charging units, bunch of different cables, high-speed internet. You don't need any of them at all. I'm just like using them as a background so that you think that I'm such a good developer, because I use a lot of screens. So that means that I'm really skilled. I'm really good at my job, which is debatable. Depends on what. Like, give me a reference. Like if you're doing certain stuff in the like future, for example, you're just getting started learning some kind of programming language, right? You're learning Python, you're learning Java. In the long run, you might need certain stuff to be able to, I don't know, create certain software developments, create certain softwares. Like, I don't know, if you want to create VR games, you need a VR headset. But even if you are getting started on coding to be able to create VR games and I don't know, code in VR, become a VR gameplay programmer, in the beginning you definitely don't need that, because as a person who has no idea what coding is, you're gonna first start like reading a lot of documentation, trying to understand like programming languages in general. What does it do? What's a computer? What's a RAM? What's a CPU? What's internet? What's a router? Like, they're really, really basic concepts that you need to get out of the way to be able to get to that level of like needing a certain like special equipment to do your job. In the beginning, all you need is some kind of a workable computer. I mean, if you can surf the web on a computer, you can write some kind of basic programs or scripts on it. Yeah, definitely you don't need a 2022 MacBook M2, M3 chip, Pro, Air, Max, Diamond, Elite, Platinum, Gold. Yeah, you don't need that stuff. You're never gonna need that stuff in the short run. In the long run, yeah, you might. But here's the beauty with the coding. You can get started on any machine as long as you have a stable internet connection that you can search something up, look something up on Google or Stack Overflow, and then you just go ahead and do those things and fix your mistakes and learn from your mistakes. I mean, if you decide to keep building and then just go into the advanced topics, you can buy whatever you need in the long run. I mean, if you have the money, if you're just getting started, you can buy all of this stuff to get started as well. I mean, no one's gonna judge you. But the only thing is, don't think that if you cannot afford these kind of stuff in the beginning, don't think that you need these stuff to become a good developer, become a good software engineer. No, you don't. That's basic as that. Okay, and the second point is, guys, probably, maybe you have heard about this one. This is called like tutorial hell. This is basically what it means is, you start like getting into the coding and software development and start like reading up on the like concepts such as like what is coding, what is Java, what is object-oriented programming, what is programming in general, binary digits, bits, CPU, RAM, like these basic concepts. But in the end, what tutorial hell means, just getting stuck on the like attempt of learning something in itself, not like building anything, not just taking risks, and then just, you're not even taking risks if you're developing like personal projects on your local machine, on your like machine in your place. Not like taking that leap of faith in order to just create something, because we kind of feel that I need to learn more, I need to read more, I need to learn more, I need to read more. But it is basically the same thing with life. Like that's what they say, right? Just start doing stuff and then you see your mistakes and then you fix your mistakes and you create create different ones, make new mistakes, and then you fix them, and then that's how you grow. That's how you grow your programming skills as well. That's basically the same thing. You need to, at some point, there is that like this threshold. At some point, you need to be able to say to yourself that, okay, now I'm done. Now I'm done reading documentation. Probably you're gonna get that feeling at some point while you're trying to like learn something new, and then it just becomes like so, I don't know, boring. So you kind of feel the sense of like losing that motivation against like that new topic that you're trying to understand. So right at that point, just start writing something. Just start building. Whatever you can build at that point. Because that's what makes like coding fun, the coding itself, the act of coding itself in general. Because no one really likes to read documentation. We do it, I still do it, everyone still does it because we need to do it at some point. But everyone just craves the feeling of that coding, and then when you run it, it's just such a good, I don't know, high. It's like, wow, it did work. I mean, that wasn't supposed to work, but it did work. That's like half of my days. Half of like any developer's days probably. So yeah, that's the one thing. So just don't get stuck in that hell, because then you're gonna start thinking like, oh, is this programming? Because like it's not fun, it's not hacking, it doesn't have the like black screen and then green writings on it, and then they just like going like Matrix. No, it's not coding as well, but like coding is kind of fun itself. But just beware of that tutorial trap. Just don't get stuck in there. Just start building stuff. Just try to build it. What's the worst thing that can happen, really? What's the worst thing? I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that you screw up everything. You just create such a mess in your code base. You need to like erase it and delete all the stuff that you did, and then you need to redo it. But yeah, whatever. You redo it then, because you're just getting started. Like, this is like most natural thing that can happen. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Okay, and then we come to the like third point, guys, that I want to talk about. So the third point would be these bootcamp stuff. Okay, so first, like, let's get one thing out of the way. I'm not saying that bootcamps are evil, bootcamps are bad, Udemy courses are useless. No, not at all. Like, they are like really precious like learning sources. I myself is kind of a like Udemy guy. Coursera, Udemy, Khan Academy. These like digital learning, digital schools, digital course platforms are like quite useful. I use them a lot. They were like beneficial, like on a tremendously beneficial level for myself as well. But the only thing is, also I did that myself as well. Like, I'm remembering those days when you're building something with the bootcamp like instructor. For example, you're just getting started, like reading up on some documentation, and then he or she is trying to explain some stuff to you, and then at the end of a section, at the end of the curriculum, there are generally some kind of like hands-on project examples, and then the instructor starts just building the project with you, and then you kind of like follow along as she or he like does its stuff. It starts building the project, you copy paste some of the code, you write some of it yourself, but like you take hints, you kind of try to use that like pieces of code that the instructor is showing on the screen. Maybe you're not copying and pasting, but you're looking at the code to get an idea. The only thing I would advise in that kind of a scenario is that when you're at the end of something, okay, let's talk about this over an example. Okay, let's say you're building, I don't know, a to-do application as a web application, right? You're building something to just like keep track of your to-dos, to delete them, to reorder them and stuff like that. In the end, you have an application that's kind of a like somewhat finished application at the end of the like Udemy course. And then you feel, I don't know, you feel really proud of yourself, which you should be feeling proud. That's also some kind of an achievement. But I would say that to make the most out of that course, just sit in front of the computer again after you finish the project, after you finish the course, the instructor is done with the project. Just go over the code, just read what is going on in the code. Try to understand, why did you do it? Because there's not going to be a lot of lines in the code that for the first project that you have created. So just read along the lines. Try to trace the code. What's happening? There's something coming over here. This parameter is going over there. There's a function. Why did I write this function? I mean, should I name this function like this? And stuff like that. Just read along the code. Try to understand why did you write the stuff that you wrote, basically. not because of some instructor told you so. Try to like explain the code to yourself. Read again, because reading code is so precious. And on the other side, try to implement one more feature on top of the project. Try to extend the capabilities of the project. Like for example, if there is no like search function in the project, try to create a search bar. If there's a web application, try to add a search bar, and then take that input from the search bar and, I don't know, search through the descriptions of the to-do items that you have created previously. For example, try to solve that problem. Create a problem and try to just solve it, because that's like, I don't know, 90% of coding, 90% of software development is creating or having problems and then having to come up with solutions for those problems. And which kind of brings me into my next point, which is software development is not just coding, guys. Like, everyone is like, I see most of the people looking at it is like, if you're a really good coder, if you're a really good programmer, that means that you're such a good software engineer. No, like engineering, craftsmanship, the thing that we mention when we say engineering stuff and coming up with solutions is not necessarily the coding itself. Creating a design for a new system is a solution too. Just creating a design, doing a brainstorming session. These are also like really important things when it comes to like software development, not coding. Because let me tell you this much, like there, I'll just put a picture over there or over there. So the coding is consisting of like 5-6 different stages. There's like, you are gathering requirements from the customer, that meaning, yeah, what do you want this application to be able to do? What's the aim of the application? What are we going to be presenting to the user? What is going to be the capability of the application? And then you come up with a design. And then you come up with an implementation program. So that how are you going to be designing that? You pick your tools, you pick your frameworks, programming languages. And then you test it, and then you deploy it. And they're like all different, like there's all this like software development lifecycle thingy that you should be aware of, because it doesn't mean that, okay, because of the internet and the Hollywood, we are thinking that those like guys with a lot of screens and the black screens with the green writings are the best guys, the coders.
Guy. Oh, Jesus. 45 seconds.
No, this is like a teamwork thing. You're going to be learning about different aspects of software development, not just coding. Coding is kind of like gateway into software development world. If you start working for a company or do an internship, that you're going to probably understand like what I mean by saying this. So yeah. Also, this brings me to my next point. Working for a company, having an internship, I don't know. Because like the real world experience, I don't want to be one of those like shitty guys saying that, if you don't have an internship, then you don't have an experience, and then we don't get unexperienced junior developers. That's bullshit. Like, yeah, someone has to get an unexperienced guy, give them some of the education, give them the sense of being a team, and teach them these kind of stuff. But that's not the topic of the day. So the thing is, I would really go for an internship or a part-time job or a freelance gig. I mean, I would go for something like that, so that you could get the real world experience, so that you kind of have the feeling that they have that notion, yeah, software development is not just, because if you get a like freelance job or an internship, you're gonna see that these are the requirements. Because at that point, now you're not the one who's deciding the functionalities or the application. Probably some customers requesting some kind of a feature from the company that you're working for. And then that like chain of command just comes down, and then to your like project owner or the project manager, and then they say like, okay, this is the stuff they need to do. Then you need to make that happen. That there is gonna be a design phase. You're gonna be working with senior developers. Also, one of those like most important things, if you got really nice like fellow senior developers in your team, you got a lot of things to learn from them. I mean, that's how you grow. That's the like benefit of working for a company. It's not just about the salary or the pay or stuff like that. It's about learning from the people around you. So that's like I would definitely just, it's like tutorial hell situation. I would definitely go out of my comfort zone and go for an internship or just work for a company part-time or get a freelance job, because that's how you learn, and you learn really fast in that manner. So yeah, that's it, guys. These are the like 5 different mistakes, the misunderstandings. Also, I have done them in my past as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. It's gonna be there's gonna be videos coming up, so stay tuned. People could be out.